Let's take a little bit of time today to talk about why you should stop thinking about the perfect way to get started. Stop taking all the time in the world, all the energy in the world, and funneling it into what is the best strategy for me to do this thing. It's not to say that we're poo-pooing having a great plan or that there's no value in having a great strategy, but the thing is, if all of your energy, all of your time is being funneled into the perfect way of doing it, this can actually just be another form of procrastination, and it can hold you back a really long time. I know someone who, for the longest time, has wanted to be a nurse. And it's for such a long period of time that you can tell it's not just something that they kind of want to do. Like, it's something that calls out to them authentically. It's part of their life path itself. Just they actually really want to relate to people and work with people in that field, in that way. It's something that really calls out to them. And you can hear it in their voice. You can see it in how this person will actually watch television shows about nursing. And you can see them get engaged genuinely. And it's like beautiful to see that energy in them, but also sad in a way, because you know that they don't just want to be watching television shows. They actually want to enroll in this thing. And they keep thinking to themselves, if I just sort out these practical things, if I just get this thing done, and then maybe I do that, then maybe I'll be able to do it one day. And what happens is weeks, months, and now years have gone by, and it never really starts. And that's because the responsibilities of life and the things that you have to do, the things you have to handle, they don't just like slow down all of a sudden once you reach a certain level of income or once you reach a certain social standing. Because there's always other stuff. There's always other stuff. And it seems logical to think, oh, well, then once I'm at a certain point, then I can do these things. But it's like, you have no idea what tomorrow looks like. How many people spend 10 or 20 years stressing themselves out, trying to get themselves in the right position in life, only to then have health problems, only to then have only half of the energy level they had when they initially started? There's always going to be other stuff that comes up. There's always going to be a family problem, a health problem, a world situation, mental health and energy stuff. I mean, that we haven't even gone into that. There's always going to be other stuff, and there's this thing that we do where we keep thinking, I just need to get a little bit further and then I'll start. I just need to do this thing first. I just need to arrange that. I just need to... And it's different from the regular kind of procrastination where it's like, you know, there's something that you actually need to do, but you're kind of just on Instagram or whatever. It's a different kind of procrastination. It's sort of a more persuasive form of procrastination in the sense that it seems so reasonable. It seems so reasonable that we would need to get these other things done first. But what I think a lot of people don't want to hear, and I don't want to hear this sometimes, and I feel like this about even making YouTube content. I love making YouTube videos. I love just sort of speaking and free associating, sharing what I'm learning. But I only love it once I get the momentum going. Before then, I don't love it. I actually kind of like, it becomes this thing where it's like, I feel like I have to do it. And sometimes I don't feel like I can get into that rhythm properly. And the reason I can't get into that rhythm is because I don't actually start. I don't actually turn on the fucking camera. And as soon as you turn on the camera, what happens is you muck it up. As soon as this person went into nursing, what would happen to them? Would it just all be good now because they were like, oh, okay, I'm going to go into nursing? No, it wouldn't. It would be... There would be problems. They would have to figure out a different way of, they would have to sort of change their income. They would have to find another way of maybe working less and making more money so they could get into it. They would have to discuss it with the people around them. They'd have to change their routine. There'd be, like I said, there's always other stuff coming up. But when you have the why, the hows just fall into place naturally. Because now that you have the thing set, it's almost like your unconscious mind just for you starts to sort of present solutions to problems for you. But if you're communicating out to the universe that you don't really even want the thing, and one way of communicating that you don't want something is to keep putting it off in the future. That's a way of saying I don't actually really want it very much. even though you might desire it very strongly, there's a difference between having a strong, sort of almost painful pang of desire for something or someone or some state of consciousness versus actually giving it a go right now and letting the momentum move you forward and letting the universe assist you in whatever it is that you want or need to do. There is really just never that perfect time. And be honest, like look back on it, like all the times that you did feel like you had the ideal time to start something, was it because you checked things, like you just had like 9 things and you ticked them all off perfectly and then you could do the thing? I mean, maybe occasionally with more like practical basic things, that's the case. But the majority of the time, what it comes down to is that only in retrospect did you realize that it was the right time to do something. Only in retrospect did you realize that you met that person at that cafe at the perfect time and you were both perfectly aligned with one another. It's only when you look back on it. Very rarely do you know it's going to happen before because you completed your chores in time before you actually started being who it is that you really are. That kind of attitude assumes a kind of, interestingly enough, it's very common, but I think it's funny to me because it looks to me like it assumes a kind of superhuman level of responsibility and power, almost as if your sense of God and your whole sense of like the highest power in the universe is just within the narrow borders of your consciousness, your like little mind. And if you just finish these things, then you can be who you need to be. Then everything will work out. And it really does start to feel like a false sense of security, being lulled into a false sense of security, as the saying goes. It's always the next thing, and it's never the thing that you're actually doing now. Just notice it, just without judging it. It doesn't have to be this. I mean, if there is a trigger response to this, that's actually a good thing because it shows. I mean, the best thing, actually, if you were watching this right now and there was something that came up that was like, this guy doesn't fucking understand my life. Like, if that trigger was directed towards me, that's completely okay. I would accept that right now. That's actually a fantastic thing. That's a great thing because that says, okay, now you know where your projection is. Now you know where your trigger is. That means that this resonates with you at that level. And it means that this video is perfectly tailored for you. Where if you're watching this and you're like, yeah, true, no, that makes sense. Good stuff. Good job, man. Like, yeah, you kind of get where I'm coming from and we're at the same kind of place with it. But if this triggered you, or if there was some, or maybe like unconsciously you just kind of want to turn this off now, you kind of want to just go do something else. Or like maybe you agree, but you'd prefer to just have the message for later on. Maybe you watch it another time, right? Something like that. If that's what's going on for you and you feel like that need to justify, like I do, I've had this spoken to me in person, even better than a YouTube video. I've had a couple people actually give me this point at different points in my life, and it's been helpful all the time because I feel like they don't get me. I feel like they don't understand where I'm at and what's going on with me. There's this kind of victim mentality that comes up to defend itself there. If that was the case, what I would ask you is, what is it that's really preventing you from getting started? Let's say you wanted to make a YouTube video. Maybe you already have a YouTube following, and if so, good on you. And good on you for being a fellow creator. Or maybe you want to paint something. Maybe you want to go into nursing, like we were talking about earlier with that person I know. What is it that's actually stopping you? Like, look past that little ego response that's just like, oh, it's because of this situation. Oh, it's because I don't have enough money. Oh, it's because no one supported. Oh, it's because this happened. Oh, it's because of... What is it that's actually behind all that? What is the feeling that's behind all of those things? Just so I can do this in real time with you, and so it doesn't feel like I'm speaking from a different place, I want to do this with myself in real time with this video. And hopefully by bringing that state up, you'll be able to sort of borrow some of that. So let's do this together, because I'm going to ask myself this question now. I'm going to ask myself, what is it that stops me from just turning on the camera and making a video? I mean, I've been doing it recently, but there's probably going to be times again where I don't want to. Maybe I'll even go a couple months and I'll back out again, which I'll work with at the time. But what is it that really stops me from turning on the camera? Let's do this together in real time. You can even pause this if you want, and we'll just sort of turn inward and see what it is that actually prevents us from doing the thing that we really know we need to do, that we really want to do. See, to me, it's really obvious that when I peel back that first layer, when I peel back that sense of, oh, because this thing, and I've got to do that thing, though. Oh, it's getting kind of late. It's already, what time is it now? It's 12 o'clock here in Melbourne. It would be better if I did it at 9 o'clock, because then I would have had a cup of coffee. I would have been more energized, but I missed. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I've already made a video this week anyway. I've already done my thing. I don't need to, I want to go out, and I only have so much energy, and I was going to socialize later, so I don't want to put it into the... What's behind all the bullshit? What's actually there? What I notice for me is that it's just the fear of not really knowing what's going to happen next. It's not really knowing how the video is going to work out. It's maybe fear of not articulating myself properly. It's the fear of the video maybe not reaching the right audience. Maybe the channel doesn't grow at the rate that I want it to. It's all sorts of... But notice how beneath those excuses and beneath those sort of more surface level reasons and fears, there's like kind of a deeper sense. There's something there that's like, I actually am afraid of what's going to happen. But what I would say to that is, when I actually feel that fully, and I'm doing that in real time, I'm talking to you, feeling it in my stomach and in my chest and sort of in the surrounding space around me actually. When I'm doing that in real time, what I'm seeing is how once I start to move with the fear, once I start to let it flow through me, it becomes obvious that the thing is just to continue doing it and just to start, right? And just to get that momentum going. And then all of a sudden, when I upload this video, when I turn on this camera, when I'm speaking, or when I go and meet that person, that's another thing. I go speak to someone who intimidates me, or maybe I'm attracted to, maybe I just want to go up and talk to them. Maybe it's a social thing, maybe it's an event, a big event. I'm going to an event tomorrow night, and it's a bit out of my comfort zone, but it's one of my favorite artists. And as soon as the opportunity came up, I was like, no, I need to buy tickets right now. And I did, because I knew that that would be the kind of thing that would allow me to expand and allow me to grow. And once you just buy the tickets, metaphorically, the unconscious already starts making the solutions for you. You know that there's something comes up and you're going to release that first thing. There's another thing, and then you release it again. Maybe you're on the way to the venue and something in you is like, oh no, maybe I'll just, whatever, I don't care. It's only $80 or whatever. But maybe you release that as well, and you notice that underneath it all, there's just this kind of sense of, no, I'm actually going to do the thing. And I would love to see that in that person who wants to be a nurse, if they ever watch this. I won't name them, but if they ever watch this, I'd love to see them move in that direction. Because from the outside, I have complete belief in them. And I just have a belief in the human spirit in general. I know that we can do what we want to do. I know if something comes to us that authentically, and for that long, it's definitely a part of your life path. Even if you start walking that path and it doesn't turn out to be that thing, and it's just the adjacent thing that you're actually meant to move towards even. The fact that you follow what it is that's most truthful to you is the thing that always sets you free. It's always the thing that where you, those moments where you actually feel alive and vivid and you have that clarity of mind and you feel like you're just on purpose. It's always when you follow the thing that you actually want to do, and it's always because you just started and moved with it. No one knew the right fucking answer before they did everything. Before they did the thing they really needed to do. They figured it out along the way, and in retrospect, you notice that it was the right thing at the right time. But you don't always just have the privilege of recognizing that right away. It's something that you actually have to start with. You have to start moving with it and have courage and love yourself enough to know that things will be okay and that the universe has got your back if things don't work out. And that when you do that day after day after day, thing after thing after thing, you start choosing love again and again and again over fear. And it's like, the way I see it for me is it's like, it keeps like slamming that into your nervous system. So when a fear response comes up, it's like, you don't ignore it or hate it or fight the fear. You just let it be there and you just choose the love thing. You choose the higher formation of yourself. You choose to be honest. You choose to collaborate instead of compete. You choose to move towards the light instead of to hide in the darkness and just to hope that one day everything will work itself out. You actually take action right now. And it's not that kind of like rough, self-hatred, I'm not going to be a bitch anymore kind of action. Like that's one level and that's better than apathy. Like that anger level is good. But we're talking about something higher. We're talking about like how David Hawkins, in his Scales of Consciousness, if you haven't checked out David Hawkins' Scales of Consciousness, do yourself a favor. We're talking about that like 200 plus level, that more like positive level where it goes from anger to pride to courage. And the courage is the sense of, no, I actually can. It's not coming from a place of self-hatred, like we have to beat ourselves, but we're actually challenging ourselves and we're doing it out of love, because to love ourselves is to know that sometimes we do actually need to take the risk. Sometimes we do actually need to let Jesus take the wheel, so to speak, and just move towards the thing. So what I would say to you to finish this off is, if you know that thing, if you can register that thing in your awareness, start right now. Like, even if it's late at night and you're thinking like, maybe I'll start tomorrow, write it down now. Like, have a bit of positive momentum working for you. Do something now. Instead of just like picking fear again and putting it aside till tomorrow and just getting inspired and then having that inspiration drift away, write it down now. Or talk to someone about it. Just put something down to instantiate the thing. Like you mean it. Because you do. Right? You do mean it. Like deep down you actually do really want that thing. And it's time to start choosing love. It's time to start choosing the expansion of awareness. It's time to start allowing life to direct you in your natural in that natural inclination, and letting life and letting the universe support you in that direction by being willing and opening up to it. So whatever that thing is for you, I would say start right now in this moment. That's everything for today. I hope you got value out of this. If you did, I appreciate you subscribing to the channel, helping spread the word, liking the video, and leaving a comment down below. When you comment on the videos, the algorithm churns it faster. So even if you just say algoritmo, didivmo, zucchini, or whatever it is, that helps the channel grow. Hope you're having a beautiful day. I'm going to head off now. That's me, and I'll see you next time.